first thing we want to talk about, man, is the monumental feat, 347 albums in 2014. I want you to talk about a little about the execution of that. Did you sit down there write, pen and pad, or you just had the equipment, you had the beats going, you just had the creative juices, and you're like, I'm going to do 15 songs a day, or I'm going to record for an hour. Can you talk about a little bit of the process it took to record all of those albums?
Honestly, I probably made something like 700 beats. And what I did was, some of them I kept, and some of them I used. And I was able to remix a lot of the beats and just put out like a couple of thousand songs at one time. A few tens of thousands songs. The keyboard, being able to make as many beats as you can in a certain amount of time.
Do you remember the kind of keyboard you had at the time?
At the time I was using a Roland. I had a Korg. And I was doing a lot of stuff on Fruity Loops.
Really?
Yeah.
So a Korg, you remember it had like sound banks in it, or it had like sounds already programmed to this thing, or did it sample it all? Or?
They've got a line of different ones, man. And basically, I would kind of like miss and match, you know what I'm saying? But I was able to do it like, it was a few thousand tracks I made, and I still have a lot of them today that I'm going to be releasing. And I just recently bought the newest Korg, and I'm finna release some tracks. I'm gonna do some features with some people, so it's going down for real.
So doing that kind of volume, I imagine you're doing albums a day. Like, say you like 10 albums in one day. Am I exaggerating, or do you think? Did you get to like 5 songs? Okay, that's an album. That's a chapter. Right? What determined an album or a chapter?
A chapter.
10 songs, 15 songs, or just what you was feeling?
15 songs.
Right, then you would move to the next.
Yes.
Right. So how many albums did you think, hypothetically, you did in one day? 20? 10?
I don't know.
Wow.
Honestly, like I could probably do 10 in a day.
Wow.
And then I'd have the idea for the actual words of the song, but.
Right.
And of course, you're not gonna make 10 songs on one keyboard, so you're gonna pretty much have 3 different styles. So basically, Korg has their own style. Roland has their own style. Yamaha has their own style. So I pretty much keep all 3 of those companies and some from the internet. Minimum Fruity Loops, Sometimes I do some Pro Stu extension stuff. But that's how it is. And the key is to keep up with the time in terms of how your tracks sound. So one track I'm gonna probably release with an artist here soon is one that kind of has that style.
You mentioned a little bit about Fruity Loops. Talk about a little bit about that, when you started using that, and how instrumental is it in your process, or is it just something that you use to get ideas going?
I pretty much had a concentration of time that I wanted to dedicate to how to learn to do it. And I just ended up making a bunch of beats at one time once I learned how to do it. And Fruity Loops, one album in particular I used to make it was the Top Mauler. And on that album, I used mostly Fruity Loops. And basically, it's more of the up-to-date kind of sound with the fast hi-hat. And it's real simple to do if you know the different protocols and processes of the different types of instruments and different types of brands of the instruments. And so that was something I really concentrated on, especially coming up playing the organ for the church. I was able to experience different types of keyboards and things.
Any other people who were involved in this process, like cameos and other singers that came in? Or, I mean, pretty much this was all you, but was there times where other people were involved, and who?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I do have an album called Hustlin' Thick. And on that album, I released it. There are some physical copies of it out there. And there is a leaflet, a booklet on the inside of it. It may not be a booklet, but it's a document on the inside of the CD that has a list of people I was thanking, which the list is over like 400 artists of people that I've worked with in the game. And so, you know, I'm fortunate that I'm having the opportunity now to, you know, display that. But in terms of the whole music thing, basically, my whole essence of it was the whole music portion of it, actually making the sound. And then that's the whole essence of a song, is the sound, the beat, and then everything builds on top of that. So as a music maker, the first thing I listen to any song is the actual beat. Everything else just builds on it. You can make your decision about it after that. And so my whole focus lately is being able to keep up with the brands of recent artists with the beat, you know, being real good. So that's why I try to take a real inclusive stance on different types of keyboards and different types of sounds.
Also, I'd like to talk about, since we're on the topic of these albums, your process of making these epic covers you're well known for, that you did. Probably, I guess you were doing in like Word or Photoshop, or talk about a little about that and the process of making these album covers and what you're saying on them.
You know, I was very fortunate that I was able to get a hold to social media and different things where I was able to get assistance on these type of things, including people helping me with making covers and designs and learning how to manipulate graphic programs to be able to do what you needed to do. And I was very fortunate where I even learned myself on how to do it, and just be able to be creative. And a lot of the stuff that you see on my Twitter that I post every day is album covers that I was able to fortunately make, you know, design.